Hey everyone, and welcome back to The Screeny. Impractical Jokers has been on our screens since 2011 and shows no signs of slowing down. You would think that watching a few guys pulling pranks on each other would get boring after a while, but there's something special about these four. They have us in stitches again and again. These guys could stand in an empty room just looking at one another and we'd still find it hilarious. Join us as we take a look at the 8 most viral Impractical Jokers gags of all time. Before we begin, do us a favor by clicking that like button and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss a video on your favorite TV shows. Number 8. Dental damages.
You say ah.
And I say, ah, no you didn't.
And I say, ah, no you didn't.
A lot of people have a fear of dentists. It can be painful, it's invasive, you've got some guy all up in your grill. Generally, it's not a great experience. That being said, you're safe in the hands of a professional. Unless you get these guys taken over. Back in 2012, Mur, Sal, Joe, and Q invaded a dentist's office and actually had access to patients. That's a terrifying thought, isn't it? It might be a few years old, but the clip has gained over 1,764,000 views currently on YouTube. There is a reason for that. It's utterly hilarious watching these idiots treating people as if they knew what they're talking about.
Moving the whole time, buddy. Don't stop. Don't stop. Don't stop chipping.
The guys themselves couldn't keep it together while they were trying to keep the gag under wraps, with Sal retreating back to behind the camera in fits of laughter. Thank God they weren't allowed to do any actual dentistry. You don't need the laughing gas to see why this clip is hilarious. Back then, the Impractical Jokers were able to get away with stuff like that a lot more, because they weren't as recognizable. Ah, the good old days. Number 7. Child's Play.
I'm not doing this bullshit. Someone else go. This is ridiculous.
Back in 2016, the guys headed for the park once more. If you regularly watch this series, then you'll know that there's nothing these despicable pranksters like more than going to the park to catch people unaware. In one particular episode, they enlisted the help of some kids who were supposed to shoot a water gun at a suspecting passerby. Then, one of the guys would jump in, take the shot, and pretends like they saved a life. It didn't get off to a flying start, with one of the little kids falling over on his way to do the dirty work.
Oh.
Seriously?
The twist of fate made Q, Mur, and Joe look at the whole thing in a different light, and instead, they took the opportunity to mess with Sal by telling the child actors to keep messing up on purpose. They were so pleased with themselves, they looked like kids in a candy store. Sal showed how little patience he had with kids, which is absolute zero. For their parts, the rest of the gang were so convincing that Sal had a complete breakdown. He went full out crazy, telling the cameras to shut off.
Why are you turn it off? Turn it off. Turn it off.
When it comes to rage, no one does it better than Salvatore Volcano. The clip currently has a staggering 3.8 million views. Number 6. Loud Library. Mur and Sal went head-to-head in this next clip, which saw them enter a quiet library and take a seat. Of course, Impractical Jokers in a library is going to be anything but quiet. Mur packed Sal's bag and Sal packed Mur's bag, so neither one knew what was going to be inside. Mur sat down at a table full of students and pulled out an electric pencil sharpener. It certainly raised a few eyebrows, but no one shushed him. It was Sal's turn next, and he pulled out a big bit of bubble wrap. The guy next to him thought it was hilarious, but there still were no angry people telling him to shut it. The two went back and forth making ridiculous noises for a while, but the creme de la creme was the Giant's party popper in Sal's bag.
Excuse me, sorry.
The entire room jumped about 30 feet in the air before calming down. Wouldn't you leap out of your skin if a huge bang erupted next to you? The segment ended when Sal pulled out 2 giant cymbals before walking out of the establishment in shame. He got a thumbs down, but the viewers gave him a thumbs up when the clip was online, with it being viewed nearly 500,000 times. Not bad for a kid from Staten Island, right? Number 5. DOGGONE prank.
It's April Fool's. You can't trust anybody.
April 1st?
No, they're gonna air this April 1st.
What the
If you're not laughing yet, then A, are you even human? And B, you're going to now. Joe is probably one of the most mischievous members of the crew and loves getting one over on his friends. In a break from shooting, Sal sits down to tuck into his lunch, not knowing that Joe has tampered with it. As they're filming at a pet store, Joe takes some dog food and puts it in Sal's chicken Caesar salad. The pair sit down to chat while Volcano happily chomps away. Joe knows what he's eating, we know what he's eating, poor Sal doesn't know what he's eating. Eventually, Joe lets him in on the secret, unable to contain his glee any longer.
April Fool's.
Am I eating dog food?
The segment was for April Fool's Day, but the date was actually March 15th, so Sal was completely caught off guard. Thank goodness for this show, because it well and truly brightens up the dark days, doesn't it? It's almost April 1st now. What are you gonna be doing to your friends? You can't just copy this, you gotta be original. Whatever you do, don't be mean. This clip currently has 1.9 million views and counting. Number 4. Perfect Pastrami. Imagine going to your favorite deli and ordering a sandwich, only for the guy to ask you to borrow some money. This clip hails from 2014 and has stood the test of time. The cast get to work behind the counter at a deli store, serving customers who get a lot more than they bargained for. Q's first conversation happens to be with someone he used to work with back in the day, which gives the guys an idea. They tell him to borrow $100 from the guy, who actually obliges. The most we can get from our old high school friends is a request on Facebook.
Here, 200. Thank you, man. Thank you.
All right?
All right, thank you.
Next up is Sal, and is forced to watch someone eat in the kind of way that would make you feel seriously uncomfortable. The woman is incredibly tolerant when all she wants is a sandwich. It's made the episode worth watching, so if you haven't seen that one yet, make sure you do. The pastrami prank has 1.8 million clicks. Put a pickle on that. Number 3. Taunted House.
Follow the sound.
Sal seems to get teased more than the other guys on the show. We would say that it's unfair if it wasn't so funny. In one episode, Sal is tasked with making his way through a haunted house. No big deal, right? Well, to us it might not be, but to Sal, it's his biggest fear. You can tell he's shaking from the very start, which is probably why the clip has over 3.5 million views. We love to see a guy peeing his pants, what can we tell you? It's a pretty spooky house in all fairness, and Sal is chased out of one room by a small child who starts screaming at him.
Get out of there! Get out of this attic!
Things go from bad to worse when he gets upstairs to see a creepy old woman sat in a chair stroking her cat. The trouble is, the candle Sal needs to blow out is right by the side of her.
One more life, and it's night-night forever.
That's not the worst part, as in another room he's met with a body in a bag and a pentagram on the wall. That's not something you would see in Tidying Up with Marie Kondo, is it? The other three think it's pure genius and love seeing Sal sweat it out. Number 2. I Know You.
Must have met someone who looks really similar.
No,
I'm
it's
not
me.
kidding you or
It's
anything.
me. Just admit you know me. You
No,
know
but really, I
me.
don't. I'm really sorry.
Let's take a walk through the park again, aka the home of the Impractical Jokers. These guys spend so much time there, it's difficult to see why people don't recognize them, but that's part of the charm. They've done this bit several times over the series, and it doesn't stop being funny. Each guy will go up to a person and say, "Don't I know you?" and have to follow the instructions from the guys. This clip from 2012 is one of the funniest times. Q is up first as the rest of the gang sits across the way and hold up cue cards for him to read. The goal? Getting a total stranger to admit that they know you. How hard could it be, right? It starts with him farting at a dinner party, but that stranger isn't buying it.
It stunk. That fart stunk. It, like, cleared the room.
Next up, Q has to convince another guy that he knows him from a circle jerk. If you don't know what that is, don't Google it. You have been warned. Unsurprisingly, Q lets that one go and wasn't able to say it. We don't blame him, although it would have been interesting to see what the other dude said. Number 1. Puppy love.
If we remember.
Don't give me all the credit.
Are we just watching Murray fall in love? Is that what we're doing?
Murr thinks he's in on a real challenge when he pretends to be a psychoanalyst in a posh office interviewing a beautiful young woman. Only the guys have done the old switcheroo and hired an actress who is supposed to flirt with him. Murr didn't have a clue, and while he was being told to say inappropriate things to her, she was returning the compliment. The lovable dope actually thought he might have scored a date out of it, but alas, it wasn't to be. He asked the woman if she wanted to go and see a show with him, and she ups the ante by asking him to dinner as well. Murr was about to exchange phone numbers when Q walked in and burst his bubble.
Was that not real? That wasn't real! That wasn't real!
She's our actress.
Everyone else thought it was comedy gold, and while Murr was a good sport, you could tell his fragile little heart was shattered into a million pieces. It's okay, Murr. You're not alone. We're looking for our forever babe too, although we're having a little more luck than that. Thank you for watching today's video. Make sure to subscribe to our channel for more videos on your favorite TV shows and tap one of the 2 videos on screen for another amazing video.